about 3 months ago, my family and I went out to eat. We had 4 people in the car, and we got hit from behind by a drunk driver. And we were all injured to various degrees, and everybody is still in some sort of medical care. It hadn't wrapped up yet, but no one is still in the hospital. But what we're learning is that the person did have insurance, but they only have $50,000 for medical per accident. And our medical already looks like it's going to double or triple that. And I'm just wondering what happens. Who's responsible for the gap? Will my insurance company pick up the gap? It looks like it could be sizable, like I said, 2 to 3 times what their coverage would pay. Their insurance company is also balking at some of the fees that the hospital is passing along, saying that fee would be too high, and so they're trying to negotiate it down. And meanwhile, I just feel like we're being caught in the middle.
Okay. A few different issues here. Obviously, hit from behind. We know we have proof of who's responsible if you're hit from behind, also by a drunk driver. Okay, so we know clearly who's responsible. But I think the biggest question that we're getting is who's going to cover that gap, because it's not taking care of all of their medical bills. What would you tell them, Barry?
Well, I'll tell them the first thing you have to do is look at your own insurance policies to determine whether or not you all have full coverage that has uninsured motorists. And if you have uninsured motorists, you're able to do what they call stack those policies. And anyone who stays in the same household are able to stack insurance policies, even if they're from a different insurance company. Is that correct, Harry?
That's absolutely correct. And the other thing that's really important, and Mr. Howard, you may want to speak on this, is it's important to know what kind of insurance you have. Is that correct?
Correct.
Some people think they have full coverage, and that doesn't necessarily mean the same thing to everybody. Of course, the state requires liability insurance coverage, but it doesn't necessarily require that you take out underinsured motorist or uninsured motorist coverage. I want you to talk a little bit about that and tell us what's important about that.
It's always important to try to determine the type of insurance you have and the various coverages that you have, as well as the amount. Because what you don't want to do is end up in a situation like you're in now, where you may have insufficient insurance to cover a large catastrophe, actually, that has occurred like this. And you'd be real surprised that it is a very small amount difference and what you would pay for $25,000 worth of coverage and what you would pay for $100,000 worth of coverage and even $1 million worth of coverage. The numbers are not that great, but it means everything. I mean everything if you're in a serious accident like you've been involved in.